welcome back to Andertons TV.
Good evening.
Let's check out the new Enigmatic 82 Overdrive Special Pedal from UAFX. Okay, question number one. This is an audience participation question. Hands up, who's ever played through a Dumble amplifier?
A real one.
Yes, I thought so. This is the new Enigmatic pedal from UAFX, claiming to contain over 30 years worth of Dumble amplifiers. Yeah.
Automatic.
But of course, whilst I have heard artists playing them, probably more on albums than in real life, I've definitely been in the same room as Robin Ford whilst he's playing his Dumble.
Yeah.
Very clean. I've seen Joe Bonamassa live. He probably had, I don't even know if he had a Dumble actually when I saw him live. After that, I'm probably running short of...
John Mayer.
Does he Dumble?
Yeah, he Dumbles.
Live?
Yeah, he had to steal... The closest I've come to play a Dumble is the clone I got from SL Amps, the steel string singer thing, which is the serial number 3 clone. 4 KT 88s and just 150 watts or something.
Fierce.
And that is fierce. That's the closest I've ever come to I think.
I've
seen them around.
I remember talking to Mick Taylor after he played one, I think while he was working at Guitarist magazine.
I remember that conversation.
And I think that was the first time that Mick sort of went, it's not, you don't plug it in and instantly go, oh my God, this is the best amplifier I've ever played. You have to be, I think, a certain level of guitar player to feel like you're really going to make it work in a way that all these iconic guitar players have obviously made it work over the years.
So they were made for them. That's the whole thing that people forget, that Dumbles, he made the amp for the player. He took them in, asked them all the questions, and then went inside and tweak. So that amp is made for whoever bought it, you know.
And that is a great segue, because I guess what we're going to get into with this pedal is that's kind of the idea, is that via the app, you've got access to some of those tonal variations that Mr. Dumble would have tinkered with to create the amps that he made for many famous guitar players.
Absolutely.
So look, I can give you a bit of blurb from here. So it's called the Enigmatic 82 Overdrive Special. Says it here, it lets you experience the heavenly tube amp sound that captivated legends like John Mayer, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Robin Ford, Larry Carlton, Joe Bonamassa and Carlos Santana. There's a little asterisk after Carlos Santana's name. I suspect that had I had the bit of paper with the other end of that asterisk on there, it would suggest that none of these people are endorsing this pedal as such. They're just being used as examples of people who played Dumble amps.
Didn't he, when you did the video, the interview, didn't he have a Dumble amp on when he was sitting outside playing? Yeah. I think he did, you know. I think he was sitting outside and there was a Dumble amp just outside.
So it then goes on to say it perfectly captures not one but numerous custom Overdrive special amps spanning 30 years with their fabled touch sensitivity, colourful preamp choices, tone stack mods, plus carefully curated mic and speaker cabinets. So let's get into this. You heard in that opening segment there 3 of the factory presets. There are maybe 20 or 30 factory presets.
Yeah.
There are some artist presets that we're going to mess with at the end of the video. But for the bulk of this video, I think we're just going to try and use the basic sort of settings within the app, within this custom mode, and the standard sort of rock and jazz tone stacks that are in the pedal.
Rock and jazz.
We've got 9 speaker cabinet models now, actually, which previous UAE pedals I think have had 6.
Yeah,
right? So this has got 9.
You get 3, and when you register, you get another 6, right?
Wow, cool. All right, well look, shall we start then? If I go to its amp mode, I go to the rock mode, which is the tone stack. We'll play around with the buttons. You can tell me what kind of a sound you like. As with all these pedals,
that sounds great.
The big kind of the big capital letters writing above, next to the knob is its main function, and then if I go to the alt mode, you get this secondary function for each of these. So you don't need the app to get quite a lot out of the pedal, but so we're going to start off effectively not using the app. So rock tone, everything around 12.
And here it is. I don't know if it sounds like a Dumble or not, right? Do you? I mean, that's the thing, isn't it?
I think we should just play a bit more. I think I felt like a Dumble was less overdrivey, but there might be people like Joe Barmassa, if he's watching this video, going, "What are you talking about, man? It's like
sounds exactly like it.
Loads of overdrive in a Dumble." But look, I guess if I think of people like Robin Ford, I don't naturally hear like a big gainy amplifier.
It is called Overdrive, isn't it?
This is true.
So it does look delicious. It looks like a cake or something. I mean, it's quite spiky. This is the thing, man. I think any amps like this, 100 watts, there has to be an amp in a room. It's so difficult to experience dynamics and harmonics and stuff when there's not reaction with, and even a couple of little speakers. I think that's where they lose out. These things.
I guess
it
we
sounds
have to.
fine.
I guess we have to
sounds
always
good.
maintain this is a £350 version of a $350,000 amplifier. So hey, look, let's just. I am really interested. The sort of the Dumble is that sort of mythical. It's a bit like a clon, isn't it? It's like even less people have played a Dumble than have played a clon, and that's not even 1% probably. Anyway, look, let's have a little play around and see what other sounds we get.
See if we can get some clean.
I'm led to believe that everything on this pedal, except the output control, is trying to recreate part of the tone stack of the amplifier. The output control is simply how much level am I sending to the mixer at the end. So wherever I set volume, overdrive, ratio, bass, middle, treble, all that kind of stuff, it's all affecting the sort of the tonality of the amplifier.
Wherever you lay your hat. It does have that, as I mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned it before, but in between distortion and overdrive, it's weird. It's a different thing, right? It does have that snappiness that, when we play the high, what was that we did yesterday? Those really expensive Victory amps,
MK.
That sort of really, that thing.
Punch you in the face thing.
Punch in the face thing.
If you're hearing any reverb, by the way, it's because we've added it from our Universal Audio Apollo rather than from the pedal.
A UA plug
although there is a
on
bit of a room sense in here, which we'll show you a bit later on. Okay, look, let's just try some other sound. I'll keep noodling and...
It sounds great, but just, I don't know. It sounds great.
I guess the other thing to remember is if you think of all the iconic artists that have used this, and I'm probably thinking more along the Stevie Ray, John Mayer and Joe Bonamassa, they're probably all also using a pedal into the amplifier to just get, which obviously we're not doing.
But you know, John Mayer, for instance, is all clean and then drop pedals on top of it.
Yeah, but it's so hard to do a demo of a pedal claiming to be an amplifier that you've never tried because you just don't know whether what you're saying is accurate or not.
Yeah, but it sounds good. So that's
good
that
sound. Let's just try so here's its most driven kind of rocky tone.
I'm going to C instead.
You are hearing, or you're getting that sense that the amplifier's trying to recreate an amp that's quite on the edge of what it can do. So you're getting that sort of squidgy compression.
Yeah. I mean, to get something like that at volume, your ears wouldn't bleed.
Yeah. Let's try its jazz mode. So again, if you're not familiar, I've no idea why the two settings were named rock and jazz. They're two different tone stack settings or configurations. I don't necessarily know that one sounds rocky and one sounds jazzy. That's just what he called them. So
somebody will probably know out there in the comment section. Somebody who doesn't have a Dumble will know. I think it's a bit thin.
It's quite thin, isn't it? Let me go. Thin. Just go back to
a bit of low end.
Much less bass in the jazz stack. I mean, obviously I can compensate.
Yeah, but compensate. Compensate, man.
Overcompensate.
Compensate. Yeah, now it's the...
I think I'm starting to hear some of that maybe more Robin Fordy brightness, almost that DI kind of sound.
Yeah.
We keep saying in these videos, it's so hard. We're hearing a mic'd up amp sound through a pair of small speakers. And it probably is absolutely nailed on. Like if we had the amp in another room and we mic'd out and we played it through these speakers, it's probably exactly what you'd hear.
Yeah.
It's just not the same as being in the same room.
With an amp. No, it's not.
With an amp.
It's not.
So I guess it's kind of like you've got to remember you're not trying to emulate being in the same room. You're trying to emulate the mic'd sound of that amp through some little speakers. I don't mind that. I can hear.
I think it sounds good.
I think in the jazz mode, I can kind of hear some of those, like maybe a bit spiky, but that sort of like sense. There's a real presence to the sound, the snap. Yeah, that some. Yeah, I don't even know what settings Robin would use.
I think that sounds great.
It does. I really think that sounds good. It's crispy, sort of clean with a little bit of a bite
on it. Yeah.
I don't know. Would you use the jazz mode with some more overdrive? I don't know.
Is that like
squidge?
Yeah, it's squidgy. Cocaine.
It's not a bad. It does have that essence of an amp really pushed, doesn't it?
Yeah. So try something really, really clean, like lots of.
Okay, so if I take these two controls right down, but then compensate by having the output pretty high.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go a little.
It's got a lot of top end on it, right?
It's not as. It's not.
Which they have.
The John Mayer clean, really.
It's
for
not.
me.
It's not. Well, you say Strat.
I say Strat. You know, a poetic license.
Oh, I can.
It's an enigmatic Strat.
I can do
of course.
This. I can do this.
It can be even more offensive to calling it a Strat.
Yeah. Look how yellow that's gotten. I need to stop smoking in here. It's even more spiky than the Telecaster is. That's interesting. It's instant.
It's just like, how do you know what the colour red is if you've never seen the colour red?
Yeah, if you're colourblind.
I have no idea. Yeah. It's like, anyway.
When you're in New York City and you want to take a taxi and go, it's the yellow ones and you're colourblind.
Let's just take this back to a sort of a... oh, by the way, as well, we're doing the whole demo so far on the first preset cab, which is a 112 black cab with a GB25 in it.
Yeah, so you probably...
there might be, you know, if we're trying to be John Mayer, there might be better cabs in here, but... help us out, John. What's your enigmatic setting? He's enigmatic all the time.
He is.
Right.
Beautifully enigmatic.
Let's try some EQ stuff. So here we go.
Is that the bass?
Powerful.
Wow. That's very canny.
It is. It's very mid-range, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think EQs in this style of amplifier are so part of that integral gain stack that's in there.
Yeah.
So you know, the more you change them, the more it changes the way the amp overdrives as well.
Yeah.
But here we go. A little bit of, let's go classic smiley face. There's a alt setting. So now I'm doing the sub settings of each knob.
Okay.
So deep, mid, presence, and bright.
Right. So these amps are tweaker amps, man. You know, you need to get in there and you need to tweak it.
Yeah.
And I think.
What was that classic? Sorry, go on you.
No, I think if you use the app and when we get to that, I think that's when you really can. That this pedal really can shine. You know.
I think it reminds me of a saying that I first heard when Boogie brought out the Mark IV, which is the problem when you have an amplifier with so many things that you can adjust is for every really good sound in there, there's another really shit sound.
Oh yeah.
And it's like,
that's
but it's not it's and to a certain degree, one of the beauties of like an old Fender or an old Marshall, you plug it in, didn't really matter where you set everything, that's the sound, and you either like it or you don't like it, but it's not like
the Mark V was the one, man.
Yeah, a tweaker amp that's a great thing. It is a tweaker amp, isn't it? This? Or this pedal is a tweaker pedal, isn't it?
Well, it is an amp in a pedal. But that's like.
See, I'm on the verge of going like, if your thing is a slightly old vintage amplifier, really gunned.
That sounds great.
That's pretty realistic. I was going to show you, here's the room. So room is, it's less about reverb and more about a sense of like, oh, there's the amp over there.
Yeah.
Like in a room.
It could be really cool thing
here's
to
no
feature.
room. We'll dial it in
Lots
a little bit.
I really like that. Sometimes it's a cool effect to have if you're doing a solo on a track. Of course, you're doing a solo on a track, you just have the amp in a room with a microphone behind.
The ratio control is the level of the overdrive in the circuit as opposed to the separate volume of the amplifier. I'm not super familiar with how that you create that on the actual amplifier, but here's what it sounds like. So
okay.
Let's go into custom mode and let's mess around now with the app.
Yeah, I think this is where it's going to shine.
This is where we've got a lot of stuff to play with here. So let's put everything back on its...
I jump back to the Telecaster.
Good idea. In fact, well, whilst Mr. Pete is doing that, let's have a little look. So we can see we're on the custom channel where the setting at the very top of the page is. We've got some amps to choose from, 50 watt, 100 watt with squishy PSs, 100 watt with stiff PSs, 100 watt with very stiff PSs, but low plate. I think you need to take a Viagra or something. We can mess with the input, normal. I've got to be honest with you, some of this terminology is beyond me, but from what I understand from talking to the UA guys, yeah, that's all I understand, or at least when I can remember. This is trying to recreate all of the stuff that Dumble would have messed around with internally. Yeah. So when you hear all these stories about he would make the amp for Stevie Ray or he would make the amp for Robin or whatever, this was essentially he was going inside with his screwdriver and changing components out. And
can you imagine having sitting with him and just sitting and noodling around? It's like having Martin Kidd here.
It's Kenny Wayne Shepherd is the only guy I've ever heard really talk about what the experience was like, and it's yeah, it's exact, and it goes on for weeks apparently. Yeah. So anyway, right, let's just I think rather than necessarily try to explain any of this,
let's just see what it does.
Hear it.
That sounds good though. That's the different amps here. Is that very stiff?
I'm making you stiff.
That's
this
good.
last one is very stiff.
Is that very stiff?
Yeah.
That sounds good, man.
Painfully stiff. That's the next one. No, there isn't. Did you have a favourite there?
Two back. Is that, what is that, semi?
This is squishy.
Sounds good. I mean, they all sound good.
We're staying
I take it soft or squishy. Or
normal input.
What is that one there? That's like
I'm
an
playing
overdrive.
with the FET versus the normal input, and then if I choose FET, I can use the trim.
Like you can
So do you want to be... You can be very stiff with minimum trim.
I think I preferred a bit trimmed, actually.
More...
Sounds great, man. No, that's too much.
Yeah, too...
Yeah, that sounds good.
Preamp boost on.
Off. I mean, now we're talking proper gainy. Sounds good. This is...
When the preamp boost is off, I can then mess around with the tone stack EQ, so I can go jazz or rock.
Go back to jazz. But see, that depends on what you're looking for. Are you looking for gain or are you looking for clean? I can't see it, man. If I'm like here on the neck. That's cool.
And then I can switch between
nice.
a classic and a skyline tone stack, which I'm led to believe are just different kind of eras of the sort of the Dumble vibe.
What was the skyline and what?
Skyline, I think, is more of an 80s kind of mod,
Yeah,
and then there are other things, you know, there are sort of the HRM Overdrive is more of a 90s thing, I think. So anyway,
somebody sitting in a New York apartment playing a saxophone in the night with a...
Classic is this. And Skyline.
There's something
way thinner.
Yeah, maybe that's... What happened in that sound? There you go. There you go.
See, there's a great example of where I was saying, like, you can get a good sound, then you can get a crap sound if you just mix different things up that don't go. So, like, rock with the Skyline sounds pretty good, but jazz with the Skyline sounds...
Yeah,
maybe that's what you want, though, right? You just want loads of sounds.
Yeah.
So if we stay as classic, we can play with the Overdrive trim.
I mean, that sounds good.
I think
that does sound good.
What we're beginning to realise is what you said about 5 or 10 minutes ago. This is a tweaker's dream.
Yeah.
This is totally not a, oh, where's my preset, go. This is a get into it, get under the hood, design your own Dumble amplifier.
That's basically what it is, isn't it?
And then save it. That's the one that he would have built for you.
Yeah. Which is quite cool.
Which is cool.
Which is quite cool.
It's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Did you say that was cool? I think that's cool.
HRM Overdrive EQ.
Hot rock bong bonky. I'm looking forward to listening back to it, the recording afterwards.
These things always sound better when you listen back for some reason, don't they?
Yeah.
Okay, well, apart from the... I was master gain rather than master volume. Let's see, is that what I...
There's an EQ as well in there, wasn't there? If you scroll further down, there was That sounds nice. Sounds good.
It's a vibe, isn't it? It's an amplifier that I wonder if I wonder if because it's synonymous with so many great players, that we all have this idea that somehow it's a magical sounding amp. I actually just think it's a type of amp that suited those players, but it's not necessarily something I'll go, it's the best amplifier I've ever heard in the world. It's just a vibe of an amplifier that's cool.
But it's something to do with your fingers as well, isn't it? All of these players that we're mentioning here, huh?
Yeah. Do you think John Mayer, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Robin Ford, Larry Carlton, Joe Bonamassa, or Carlos Santana would sound rubbish if they'd just played in something else?
Plug into flipping anything and sound good, man.
A packet of sausages.
A packet of sausages.
Great.
What is the guy with the sausage fingers? Oh, sausage fingers.
Okay.
Can you turn me up again, please? I just want to hear.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's magnificent.
Tremendous.
Do you want to play?
No, I mean I probably will after we film, but I guess we haven't been through the cabs. We should have a quick. I'll get just a basic. If we go back to that almost first setting that we had, where it was just like a.
It's got that.
Happy with that? As just that's our sort of basic rock preset tone. So cabinet number 1, cabinet number 2.
What's cap number 3?
212 Brute, it's called.
That sounds good.
Number
I like that.
4. Oh. I just thought of something.
What?
I don't know if this is necessarily the best thing to say at the end of a video like this, but assuming this is a really authentic reproduction of a Dumble sounding amplifier, I'd rather have a Fender.
Yeah.
It's not.
I don't think Dumble is for everyone. I think when people say I have got a Dumble profile on my Kemper or something, they don't know if it's even a Dumble, is it? They don't never because you haven't got anything to compare it with.
It's a really untamed, screaming, wild, loud valve amp that if you're John Mayer or Stevie Ray or what, you can tame it and you can make it do your thing.
Yeah.
If you're me, you'd be better off with a Fender Deluxe or
Hard Rock Deluxe,
something like that.
100%.
With a couple of pedals in front of it.
Yeah.
So I don't know that. Yeah, I kind of don't want to. It's not like I'm criticizing this pedal. I think in fact it's enlightening because it's probably one of those brands that I do actually trust to have done a good job of making it sound like a Dumble. It's not like when you're on some cheap multi-effects processor and it says here's the Dumble patch.
No.
I don't know, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I think I trust that is how a Dumble would sound on those types of settings. And I sort of just go, well, that's amazing. Maybe it's just not
your cup of tea.
Thing. Although for 350 quid, maybe I'd just go, maybe I'll just have it just to see. Yeah. I wouldn't pay $100,000 for an amp like that. It would be wasted on me.
Yeah, that would be wasted on a lot of people and also who spend 150 grand on an amplifier. I mean, to sit with it on a plane, you know, take it on a boat. I mean, it's just insane. Prices.
I respect all of the players that are on that list there. And when you see Joe Bonamassa, he's a great example. You know, and he plays live and he mixes. He has a host of different amplifiers, and he's spent, you know, that's years and years of his live craft experience of going, this is the mix that I want to get. And of course, he's choosing Dumbles. He's up. You know, he can tame it. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's a wild animal. It's a wild stallion that only the best horse rider is ever going to get on and make it work. I thought you were getting some great tones. You know, you could probably rock a Dumble.
I would love to try one day. I couldn't say if I could or not, but I would love to plug into Joe Bonamassa's rig or Don Mayer's rig on live on those 3 amps and the 2 rocks and the stuff, because I think the volume they play with, these people, are something that it'll just take your head off. Oh no, you'll turn it down, you know. You'll be scared of it.
Even Robin, more recently, has been talking about how he's gone back to lower wattage amplifiers just because sometimes the Dumble is just too much.
Yeah, because you touch it and you're like, oh my God, Jesus. You know what I mean? No.
I think it's been it's the first one of these UA pedals that we've done where we've literally, I think all the other ones we've spent really going, that's a classic, it's a Marshall, it's an AC30, it's a Fender, and you go, nailed it, sounds epic, nailed it.
No, we got no idea.
And this one we got no idea, and it is a bit, it is a bit more wild. I don't know that this is necessarily for everyone, or much. I'm sure UA would like everyone to buy.
Yes, but look, you can buy the Fender, you can buy the Marshall, you can buy the Vox, and now you can buy the Dumble. It's great. It's brilliant.
I guess with all these things, the price is the key thing, isn't it? Yeah. It's affordable enough that, you know, if you use it and there's like 1 or 2 sounds in there that you use from time to time, that's okay.
Yeah.
It's not like you've just spent it's not like you've sold your house to go and buy an amplifier and go, I don't really like it.
I can imagine. I've taken a second mortgage, darling.
Yeah.
Because I think it sounds... It sounds different enough from a Fender or Marshall or Vox that I can believe that it sounds like a Dumble.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah. Well, there's not much else to tell you. I mean, all the same. I'm sure people will be. What's the right word? Upset, if you like. To UA, none of these UA pedals are MIDI, so they're just, you know, that's the sound. You can obviously you can have a preset. You can have multiple presets within the app if you want to. Can you swap
between 2? You can set it up to do that.
Absolutely. You've got over here on the settings mode, gives you all your ways of you know, deciding what the 2 switches are going to do. It doesn't use IRs, it's all UA's proprietary speaker and microphone emulation, which I think are
the best.
Superb.
I trust it.
Yeah, absolutely superb. It's very simple to use. There you are. It's a sort of a, how would you describe that colour? I'm fairly sure there's like an Angel Delight caramel flavour that's exactly that.
Yeah, I was going to say it looks a bit like a cake, doesn't it? There was or like a latte with a bit too much milk in it.
It could be that. I'm really interested to read the comment section, you know, and again, I'd be really interested if anyone in the comment section goes, I've actually got a Dumble.
I've got a Dumble, and I've even played a Dumble.
Yeah. So there we are. John, Joe, Carlos,
can we borrow one of
Larry,
your Dumbles?
Robin, comment below. Does it sound like this? Anyway, right,
like
okay, should we move on?
Bad Beatles.
Let's go and do this now. It's almost the colour of your fetching Andertons top, you know, so it's a slightly darker brown version.
Yeah, a bit more mustard.
Right, see you soon. Thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe.